This episode is brought to you by HubSpot. Did you know that most businesses only use 20% of their data? That's like playing a football match with 1/5 of a team. Going to be pretty hard to win, right? Unless you have HubSpot. Their customer platform gives you access to untapped insights in emails, call logs, meeting transcripts, and all the other data you need to grow your business. Because when you know more, you grow more. Visit HubSpot.com today. Hello and welcome to The Rest is Football with Micah Richards, Alan Shearer and me, Gary Lineker. England have qualified for the 2026 World Cup and they've done it in style. 6 games played, 6 victories, 18 goals scored, none conceded, free-flowing football. It's just an absolute cert now that England will win the World Cup.
Why aren't we all ecstatic?
Well, the thing is, you can only beat who's in front of you,
Yeah,
can't
I
you?
agree, absolutely.
And don't forget, not that long ago, 18 months ago, a little less, or 15 months ago, we were following England in the Euros and they were playing against teams, so-called inferior opposition, and they struggled against them and they, didn't play high. But I applaud Thomas Tuchel, the fact that they're now playing very high. They're kind of, I suppose, dominating the play in terms of possession, obviously, but also they're playing in their last third of the pitch. But what can we really read into these games?
England have been impressive. As you say, it's not their fault, the opposition. They can only beat who's put in front of them, and they've been really impressive. I think the manager has done everything he could have. He sent a message out to his players in terms of the big hitters. This is who we are. If you don't want to be part of it, if you haven't got the right attitude, I'm really happy with my squad and I don't have to bring you back in if you're not going to be at the top of your game. Yeah, so from that point of view, everything's been amazing. Everything's been brilliant. And I understand over the years, England have lost to Iceland. England have lost to so many lesser nations, but I think that's why we're seeing so many records being broken in terms of goals scored for individuals, for teams, etc., etc. I mean, and I understood Thomas Tuchel's point the other night about England fans when there was, brilliant on a Thursday evening, 80,000 on a friendly when they all go to Wembley, etc. But I sort of get it and understand it because, I don't know about you, but are you really excited about what we've seen from England over the last year or two? They've been great and did exactly what we wanted them to do and they had to do. But you can't tell me you've got excited and got off your seat with all of that.
Well, the thing is, Alan, realistically, you're not going to get excited until they start doing well in a major competition or a World Cup.
This is England. Games and whatever.
Because they're winning so easily, so therefore there's no jeopardy. I think that's the thing. If there's no jeopardy in a football match and you think, well, you just need to turn. You don't need to turn up. You've still got to perform, and they have performed. Yeah. But it's say again, they're not playing against France and Portugal and Spain and Argentina and Brazil, and they're not at the moment. But so, why would you get excited or nervous? Because you need to have a degree of nervousness about a football match to have that kind of excitement that you're talking about, surely.
It's like playing the FA Cup third round every time England play, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed. But they need to change the format, don't they? They need to change it the same like the Champions League, make it a league format because I think
you can't do that, Mike. How can you play that many games?
Well, you could have maybe less games, but they need to do something. Maybe just in terms of
even like the Nations League, where relegation and promotion, and you're playing better opposition all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, but for me, I think they were positives for England.
Yeah, loads.
And Al's talked about a few of them, but I think watching the game, it's more the way the press, as you said, the high, but it's how they're winning the ball back so quickly. So once it goes past the first line, And then the second line, sort of not even in the mid block. It's sort of in between high and mid block. They just everyone's out. And even a perfect example of that was Bowen, because you know what it's like. You come on as a sub, you win in the game, and you think the energy could drop. And I think players forget their principles, but they didn't. Bowen wins a ball, looks like he's going to play to Rashford, gives the ball to Eze. Eze scores, and I just think that energy in the team is back. And how many games have we watched where it's been an absolute dross game and it's been 1 or 2-0 and we go away from it thinking, okay, it was only X of team, and we're thinking, they were supposed to do that anyway, but they're actually winning the games convincingly, and the players now who are playing well for their club are transferring that into international exactly the same. So, yeah, it's not great. It's not that exciting.
It's through no fault of anyone's, the players or the managers or anything else. They've shown a great attitude, and they did exactly what they had to do, and they've scored the goals, and they've won the games, and they've all been impressive. The manager's made the point that he had to make. But can anyone really tell me that they got excited or they really enjoyed watching those games?
No, I don't think that's necessarily the point, really. Because
what is the point then?
The point is to make sure that you do turn up in those games and do what England have done. They can't do any more than that.
No,
but
that's
if
what
they
I've said
turned
that.
up in these games and not performed, you go, of course we're not going to get excited about matches against Latvia and friendlies against Wales.
But that's all we've seen for the last 2 years.
But that's nobody's fault, is it?
That's the authorities' fault, no? I mean, that's just the way it is. It's not... I'm not having a go at any player. I think their attitudes have been brilliant. And I've been in these games. I've been in where you've had to go to, I don't know, Luxembourg or Switzerland or, I don't know, Andorra.
You had to mention the game where you got a hat-trick.
Hat-trick, yeah. That was at Wembley, though. It's fine.
I was thinking about the games where he'd scored.
I mean, come on. Have you really, really enjoyed what you've seen over the last week or so with England? I know they beat Wales at home and they've won tonight, but come on. You can't tell me you've got excited over that.
No,
really? Anyone?
I don't think
know
we
it
call
doesn't
it
take a lot to get you excited, Micah, but come on.
No, I don't think anyone would have got excited about that. But what more can you expect from a performance like that? You know, it's if they're not playing against France or Germany, so you're not going to have that kind of jeopardy of performance.
But that's
which
what we're
makes
having
it
all the
exciting.
time now. That's why Thomas Tuchel tried to make a point the other night. Is like, I mean, the England fans are amazing. There was 80,000 at Wembley for a friendly on a Thursday night, and the England fans travel wherever England go. And they've been brilliant, but you can't tell me we're all excited over what we've seen over the last 2 years qualifying, can we?
Oh, bar humbug, aren't you, Al? You big real humbug tonight.
Are you disagreeing with me?
No, we agree with you.
We're agreeing with you, but I'm not sure how it could possibly be exciting.
Harry sent us all a text tonight to say about the Netherlands.
Harry Kane?
No, your Harry. Saying about Memphis Depay, most assists and most goals. I mean, as much as I respect him.
Dutch national football history.
Yeah. Van Basten, Van Nistelrooy, Cruyff. Who else has I missed out? Come on.
Well, it is a different game, international football now, particularly qualifying. And we've talked about this many times because there's so many more countries and smaller countries allowed in, and the breakup of the Soviet Union and the Balkan states, and you know.
So what's the solution?
I don't know what the solution is in terms of qualifying. I don't know, but. I mean, having said that, there are teams that have missed out on major tournaments in recent times. It's Italy most notably.
And by the way, the World Cup's been extended to 48 teams as well. So we've got an extra, 18 or 16 teams extra in the World Cup. So I'm not sure that's a good thing either.
I think we'll all get excited when the World Cup starts, though.
Not in the qualifying rounds. We might in the latter stages.
We will. Come on. The World Cup is going to be brilliant. No matter if it's the group stages or if it's knockout. You'll absolutely love it where you go in. America,
Canada, Mexico.
Yeah.
Well, there are countries that you would expect to do reasonably well in qualifying and haven't. Sweden, for example. With obviously they've got the likes of Isak, Allen and numerous other good players. bottom of their group against Switzerland, Kosovo.
Been sacked, hasn't he? Has he been sacked? Did I read tonight, John Dal Thomason?
That's right. So, that's the thing, because we're talking over here about it not being that exciting. And no, of course it isn't, because winning comfortably against relatively mediocre opposition is not thrilling, but you've still got to do it. And
I get that. I'm not seeing anything there.
Okay, let's talk about perhaps other things after we take a little breather. Welcome back to The Rest is Football with Alan Shearer, Micah Richards and me, Gary Lineker. Alan's in a particularly good mood tonight after England's spectacular victory. But overall, looking at who's done themselves a bit of good, which players. I mean, let's talk about firstly that Thomas Tuchel's, he left one or two big names out. I think obviously Phil Foden, who's kind of creeping his way back to form this season. Jude Bellingham, but Jude's been out for a long time with a shoulder surgery, and then he came back and he's played bits and bobs for Real Madrid. Subsequently, people getting a little bit excited, or not in the way you were getting excited, Alan, about England's performance, but the media making a big deal of it. I think Thomas Tuchel's actually been probably quite sensible. It's a good chance to rest players when you're so comfortably off in terms of qualification.
What, you think he rested Jude Bellingham and all of that, do you? You don't think he was making a point?
No, I don't think. He might be making a slight point, but at the same time, I also think Jude's just coming back to fitness. He's just coming back to playing minutes for Real Madrid. He's been out for quite a long time. He might be sending a little bit of a subliminal message to him. I don't know, but even if he is, it still makes some sense to me, because we all know Jude will be part of England's team. He has to be.
Without doubt, I don't know if he was sending a message. I think it's because he's been injured. But I like the way Tuchel just says it how it is. He had a little bit of a message for Rashford as well. He said he could be whatever he wants to be. And I just feel like with Rashford, just let Rashford do what he's been doing at Barcelona. He's been outstanding for them. Everyone in the media this week's been talking about Rashford, but just let him do what he needs to do. I mean, there's other players now. You ask the question, who's done themselves a favour in getting, what was the question that you asked, Gary? You said who's done themselves justice? Let's say justice.
Who's impressed over the last couple of games? Who perhaps because that's what you've got to do when you get a chance in the England team. Whatever the opposition, you've got to make an impact if you want to get in this squad. Because obviously at the moment this would be incredibly competitive to get into the England 23 if that's how many they have in the squad.
I think Gordon, and that's why I was talking about Rashford, because Rashford's done well for Barcelona, as I've mentioned, but Gordon, I think he took his game to the next level. I think he's always been a confident boy. He's always been able to go both ways. He's played a little bit up front in that number 9 role. He's definitely best out wide, but I think his final ball's getting a lot better. Don't forget, when he goes down that side, he's coming onto his left foot. But some of the balls he put in tonight, there was a lot better than I've seen previously. So I think he did well tonight. I think Spence.
Really good. I was going to say Jed Spence.
Playing left back one game, playing right back the other. Really good one-on-one defending. Technically good, can go forward. I think he's done himself in that position as well. We've got so many. Trent, we've mentioned, Reece James, Spence, Livramento, even the likes of Trippier. And there was one more, wasn't there, who could play right back? It's gone out of my head now, but they've got so many options in that right back area. I just think it's good to see England doing well. Yeah. Regardless if it's Latvia or Wales in a friendly, they're playing with conviction, and Harry Kane looks like he's back to his best.
Question for you, Al. Who excited you tonight?
Hey, I'll tell you who has excited me, by the way. Elliot Anderson.
Yeah, he's done really well.
Don't be jumping on the Elliot Anderson bandwagon now. H, I need the evidence. I want you to scroll through previous episodes and get
Micah was right. I was right again when I've never really said it, but I'm just going to try and get some evidence.
You know why I
to
say
make sure
it? Because you at the time was like, when I mentioned it, you went, yeah, you did that stupid thing that you do, like you've done tonight about England's performance. I'm not too sure. And I said Elliot Anderson, and you looked at me like I was deluded.
But you know why, Micah? You know why? That was because obviously he was leaving Newcastle. That's why he's going
Morgan
to France.
Rogers,
Well, he wasn't that good
in the
anyway.
Wales game. I thought he was outstanding. Rogers got his goal.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not. I think whoever he's picked has done everything that the manager would want them to do. They've all done as well as they could. Even he gave up. Ollie Watkins came in, got his goal. I know he couldn't play tonight, but got his goal. I think everyone's done as well as they could, to be honest. And I think the manager's made some really important decisions, as in bringing players in, leaving players out. And it's been a really good international break for him, to be honest. Not only on the pitch, but off it as well. I do really think he's sent a message out to all of those players that are on the fringe, or for whatever reason, whether they've been injured or whether they're just not good enough to get in, for whatever. I think he's sent a right good message to those over the last 2 games and the way they've performed and they've done well and everything else. And I guess he's an experienced manager. He knows, he's been around the block. He knows exactly what he's doing, doesn't he? And he's seen managers with England come and go and try different things. And I just feel as if he knows exactly what he's got to do. If he doesn't win this World Cup, he's gone. That's what he's been hired to do. So he ain't going to take any passengers with him. If they're not on his side, then they're not going to be in the squad. And I think that I think is the big thing for me to come out of this last 2 weeks.
I agree with what Alan said, really. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because had we beat someone like France tonight, even though France are not playing that well at this moment in time, you would take a little bit more. I think the end goal for us even talking about it is how will England fare in the World Cup? And the honest
can't
answer,
read anything on from these games. You can't
exactly that, and that's what Alan's alluded to at the start of the pod. Is like, well, it's Latvia. He's supposed to beat Latvia. How can he take positives from that? But yeah, it's a difficult one to gauge, but they got the job done, and that's the most important thing.
They're doing everything they need to do at the moment, and that's all you can ask. I mean, I don't know anything more. That this will breed a little bit of confidence. They've comfortably qualified for the World Cup. We should celebrate that, and we'll all get really, really excited. And before we go, I just want to mention, like, Cape Verde. Did you see that? I mean,
I saw that, yeah.
I mean,
amazing,
to qualify it ahead of Cameroon, wasn't it? I think as well.
That's another thing, though, isn't it? It's like I mentioned it earlier. We're going to go from 32 to 48 teams in the World Cup, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
What are we thinking about that, guys? Are we thinking that's a great thing for countries like Cape Verde with
it is
500,000 population, or are we thinking that's going to dilute the quality of the World Cup?
It'll dilute the quality of the group stage of the World Cup, but once you get to we all know that the major tournaments, they really kick in the knockout stages, don't they? The group stages, sometimes you have a little bit of drama. Mostly it's fairly predictable that the big nations get through. And I'm sure, given the nature of more teams in it, there's more likelihood that the big nations will get through, because it's less likely that they'll play each other in the group stages. So I would expect, but it starts in the knockout, the really exciting stuff. Even you might get excited when it's in the knockout stages.
Has he been on the pills or what, Gaz? What's good with him? He's getting like all excited and all all positive.
I'm trying to
that.
inject some enthusiasm into this podcast, Alan, when somebody else is doing the exact opposite.
So you weren't falling asleep during that game when it went to 3-0, no?
No, I was out having dinner. I was out having dinner tonight, and I was watching it on my phone.
All right, Micah, you must have been. You were falling asleep. I know you were. You text me saying the same.
Yeah, I was falling asleep.
I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you on that front. I don't think anyone disagrees with you, Alan. But Bigger tests will come.
Yeah, they will.
Bigger tests will come for sure. Okay, let's call it a day there before Alan falls asleep. That is it for this episode of The Rest is Football. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Good night.